Hi everyone. I know you see a tree like this and maybe you were expecting somebody else, but it's just me with a juniper that I collected from a friend's house in Victorville, California about 10 years ago. And this is a very large juniper indeed. It needs quite a bit of work. I hope to put it in the bonsai show next spring, but before we can do that, we've got a big piece of deadwood down here on the left side of the tree that needs to be carved. And then after that, since it's been putting on quite a bit of growth in the past year, we need to do a bit of cleanup on the foliage. We're not going to completely detail it out yet. We're going to save that for next spring, a couple of weeks before the show. But we're going to at least rough in the ultimate shape that it's going to take for next year's show. So let's get started on the deadwood. We've got the eye protection, and we've got the Dremel tool. And I peeled off some bark earlier. You'll notice it just kind of peels off in areas where it's loose. But in other places, we're actually going to have to go at it with the bit in order to get it off of there. Okay, this is a loose piece here. And we're going nicely down to the wood. Now this entire branch here has been dead for quite some time. And this happens to be the fastest and simplest way to take the bark off it. Now the thing I like about using a small tool like this is it gets down into the crevices easily. Okay, this about wraps up our work on the deadwood for today. Let's take a look at it from the front. You can see we've stripped the bark off it and we've contoured the cut-off ends of all the various branches on this particular rather massive snag of deadwood. And later on we'll do some more finer work on it and we'll lime sulfur it and we'll turn it so you can see what we've done and see it from both sides. Now we have to start working on the branches. We've been working on the tree's profile, and I immediately identified certain things I wanted to do. There are some upper branches that need to be somewhat shorter, and there's a lot of foliage hanging down that we need to just go in and snip off in order to clean the tree up. So we'll come in here like this and clean it out just so we can get a better look at where we are. And then this branch is too long, so I'm going to take a look at the tree's profile and take it back to right about here. And we'll work the other side, make sure we don't take off anything we need during the cleanup here. Then we've got various little suckers growing directly off the trunk. It's an indicator of a very healthy tree, and this tree has responded quite well to fertilizer treatments, but it's not something we can tolerate for long on a bonsai. And we even have suckers coming in underneath the first branch here, so we have to clean those off. And then get under this first branch take off everything that hangs down. Now also this second branch is a little too massive and is stealing some appearance from the first branch. So this has to be taken back in various places. So first we'll take it off here and clean out the stuff that's hanging down. Take a look at what we can do to get this back into proportion. We've worked on the lower branches now, and we're continuing our way up the tree. Just kind of a general cleanup. Like I said, I'm not going to really detail this tree out until next spring, partly because this is not the right time of year for it, and partly because I want it to be at its best when I put it in the show next year. So we're just going to go around, take off any down-hanging branches or anything else that doesn't quite fit the profile, and that will pretty much conclude the presentation on this tree once we finish that. We've finished our cleanup pruning on this tree now. We didn't want to take too much off or really detail it out because it's fall here and this tree has to get through the winter before we really get it ready to be shown. But this is our progress for today. We've worked on the deadwood, we've cleaned up the branches quite a bit, and hopefully next spring we can put it into a really nice bonsai pot and then really detail out the foliage, do a little more work on the deadwood, and maybe get it ready for next year's show. So let's do a slow 360 now and see what the tree looks like. Thank you for watching, folks.